Good morning, guys. Welcome back to We Think Differently. Is that a problem? We have a good conversation today. Today's conversation is one that can divide families, friends, and even entire countries. This can happen to. Topic today is, why do people believe conspiracy theories? Curiosity or dangerous thinking? Is it because people may be gullible, or because has history just shown us that powerful people have lied before? Should we question everything, or can believing too many conspiracies become dangerous? Today we're going to just discuss some few theories that we've picked out, and see if how guys feel about that. What do you have, bro?
Man, listen, I think we should question everything. That's the only way we find the lie. And I think everybody lying. So,
Right,
you know what I mean? So,
right,
I think conspiracy theories are healthy. Some of them can get out of control, of course, um, like anything else.
right, right.
But I do think it's a necessity because like in any joke, there's truth, right?
Mm,
Kind of like in the conspiracy, there's some truth in some of it,
mm,
as into the extent and so forth. We can pick through different ones and go from there. But I think they're healthy. Um, the imagination is what gets us to grow.
mm,
So, and also the thing is, it's I don't know if this is right or wrong to say, but you're not the first person to think of anything,
right,
right? So if you think something's possible, it's possible.
right, right.
So there you
I,
go.
I, I think our brains just hate unanswered questions.
No, no, some of these we get answers to. But we make up a conspiracy. You see what I'm saying? Like, perfect example, JFK,
Mm, mm,
right? Part of the conspiracy is that the government killed JFK,
right,
right? Part of Martin Luther King's death, right?
right.
The government killed them. So I mean,
Not
we were
just somebody
given
just didn't like them and just decided to
right. We were
assassinate.
right. We were given facts about it,
Right.
but we tried to look
But
deeper.
you remember conspiracy theories used to just stay in your neighborhood. Like now, you got TikTok, you got Instagram, you got Facebook. Now the whole world can see these conspiracy. You didn't have a big thing where it was like everybody was on the same conspiracy. Before it was just, oh yeah, in the neighborhood, such did this, the story
Right,
was this. It just stayed in the narrative in the neighborhood. Now
right.
it's huge.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, the internet has added uh, growth to the conspiracy theories and so forth.
Mhm.
And I'm not going to say anything about the current state of America, but per stats, uh, the intelligence level of people
Mhm.
have been dropping. And so
Right.
it's it's kind of easy to get through on a conspiracy theory and have everybody believe it nowadays on the internet.
Let me,
But yeah,
let me get your thoughts on something. I'm gonna bring up something. I want to see your thoughts on it because I'm not I'm not heavy into conspiracies, but when something don't make sense in my brain, I'm like, wait a minute, it got to be more to this story.
okay,
Because and where I'm going to is, in this world, in today's time, it's not too much that can be hidden.
okay,
That's what I feel, because there's so much technology now. It's so much, we have advanced quite, far in certain technologies. So
okay,
it don't make sense. But first I'm gonna say this also, because you're gonna know where I'm going. Um, you know that um we've only looked at maybe 20% of the ocean. We've never really went down there. We're scared to go down there, put it that way.
Okay.
Nobody, it's so dangerous and so, it's just, what scientists say is just not um, a place they want to really discover anything in.
Okay.
So on March 8th, 2014, Malaysian Airlines flight MH370 carrying 239 people.
Mm-hmm.
This flight just disappeared.
Okay.
Nobody knows where is it at. Nobody can't find the wreckage. Nobody can't find it. And there's so many conspiracy theories about this flight.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, they talk about the people that was on board the flight. Um, it could have been shot down. I've even heard conspiracies where they think the flight was taken, somebody hijacked and it landed somewhere, and all those people were somewhere else. I've even heard that conspiracy, right? But
Who-
what gets me about it is because they can't find the wreckage.
Okay.
They can't find it. Um, some people say it was a pilot suicide dive. Um, um, they don't know exactly where it crashed, which kind of blows my mind. Like the military radar is what took over, and they looked at it, and it's some kind of what they call it, a handshake. Like when signals connect, they call it a handshake, and they kept saying it kept giving these handshakes, like it traveled for hours, and they believe it just ran out of gas and crashed.
What did the plane?
Yeah, they believe it ran out of actually, I mean, fuel, not gas, fuel ran out of fuel and eventually crashed. They don't know where.
Okay.
So the southern part of the Indian Ocean has not really been discussed. Nobody's been over. It's so remote, and it's so I guess the weather or whatever is very dangerous or something. But they've never really been there to look around or go down or dive. They've never been in there. That's where they believe this plane is.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's always fascinated me because how are we missing a whole plane? If
You
we,
know, I put it to you like this, man. Radar has gotten better, whatever. Signals are pretty much the same in a sense, right? Signals, radio,
Mhm.
sonar. From the '60s. Not much other than, but anyway, my point is this: anytime you have a large thing where people disappear or nobody has an answer, there's always going to be a conspiracy theory.
Of course, yeah,
Always.
yeah.
Um, to relate it back to something that most people know about is the Titanic.
Hmm.
All right. The Titanic, there's a conspiracy theory of the Titanic
Right.
that a certain family or families
Mhm.
decided to
But we
kill.
have
There was some.
answers for that. We
Is
eventually found the
hold on,
wreckage.
hold on, hold on.
Mhm.
Because there was some wealthy families on that boat,
Right.
and they were killed. Now, the thing is that we know that they found the boat, right?
Hmm.
But how long did it take?
I mean, it took decades, of course, for them
Okay,
to eventually find it.
right. Even with the technology, even where we knew the trips, even where there were survivors,
Right.
all that,
Right.
it still took decades because the ocean is big. There's current, things move. We
Hmm.
don't really understand it to the extent that it's occurring. So I get the conspiracy theory,
Hmm.
but I relate it to something that I've seen before,
Hmm.
right? Not saying that it couldn't happen, but if I'm doing percentages wise, I'm
Hmm.
thinking of, it went down, okay? And it got swept up in the current and it's somewhere. I mean, it's not like in another dimension. It's
Right.
not on a,
Right.
yeah, it's not on an island that we can't see,
Right.
right? They're not captured or
Hmm.
because due to technology, we
But that's
would
what
have,
you believe. That's
I
what
absolutely, I absolutely do believe that because of technology. If they were alive, but but that's the whole point. Either you believe in conspiracy theory or you don't. I mean,
right, yeah.
so I mean, just because
So
they say it.
what about the people that were on board? This is the big conspiracy
Mhm,
about the the inventors, as you want to say, but they talk about these four inventors that was on board. They had patent this whatever it was. Um, they talk about them on there. So it's supposed to be five of them. Only four were on the plane.
mhm,
Apparently, if the four died, the fifth one that's alive gets everything. They
okay.
talk about that. It's just so much stuff on here that they talk about, and it just
It all depends on how you look at it. Because from being a God fearing person and think about blessings, I think the fifth person was just blessed.
right,
You
true,
know, not even thinking of a conspiracy like
right,
he took
true,
the other four out to get the 100%. That's
right,
not even where my mind went, just
right,
because of where I am,
yeah.
right? But there
I mean,
are
are
certain.
conspiracies just too much of a coincidence? Like, this is it just a coincidence that these four people that created this technology, they think this technology was so classified and so it was something, it had something to do with the military or something. That
Mhm,
I've heard so many conspiracies that these four people just happened to be on this flight that had this detailed technology,
mhm.
and now they're gone. Is the technology
I
going with
yeah,
them? Or?
in most cases, when you're presenting or establishing, most people travel together. And back
Exactly.
right,
Yeah,
I mean, back
yeah, exactly. That's,
right, so
meetings. You've been to conferences with your team or something like meetings. Yeah, we know that. That's fact. Yeah, that happens. I'm
yeah,
just
so I mean,
saying.
what I'm saying is where I'm thinking naturally, and sometimes there's always one person that did make it or somebody, whatever the case may be. But, in that situation, I'm just thinking, somebody's blessed and it was a bad situation and, they need to update the planes. I mean,
I,
instead of, and that's the whole thing, right? I mean, what about the airline and so forth? There were investigations that I think the Federal Aviation Administration actually did an investigation, and it's still ongoing, or it's paused, or whatever the case may be. But you know, um, I don't think any of these conspiracy theories, I haven't heard any that actually include that report or speak about that report. You see what I'm saying? Um, I'm sure there's some type of documentary or some type of uh, discussion about it out there, but I haven't seen anything that would make me think of a conspiracy. Um, you know,
the question for me is, and just like I said, where is the plane? I would love to know what happened. I've watched a couple documentaries on it, and that pilot, um, they played a video of him when he says, good night, MH370, and he sound normal to me, but who knows? They wondering were they hijacked because they were going to Beijing, I believe. And then after that last good night, when he transferred over to Vietnam Air Tower, um, he turned back around and went back the way he came and just kept going straight.
mhm.
And like it wasn't even a minute when it happened. And they said the plane was moving. It was moving faster than it should have. They said the plane was moving fast.
Mhm.
And it just kept traveling for hours and hours until the signal stopped. They
Mhm.
don't know exactly where. I just thought
Maybe
our technology was a little better than that. Like
Oh, hey,
we
let's
couldn't find a plane. We don't know where it traveled to. Like these not really confident answers from them as far as did it really turn or y'all just don't know where it went. I just thought we had more. I thought our technology was a little better. That's all.
yeah. I mean, but the thing is that you're talking about a plane going 200 to 400 miles, maybe even faster than that, an hour
Mm,
over ocean, right?
mm, mm,
Google gets your house wrong
mm.
on Yahoo. I mean, or on Trulil, those sites that tell you the status of your house, right? The satellite current technology. Take a current picture
Uh,
of your house, and it
oh
shows you
yeah,
a
yeah.
picture from
Uh-huh.
3 months ago.
Right,
You see what I'm saying? Like people put too much into technology. That's what I'm saying,
right.
right? We're expecting a little bit too much because that's hundreds of miles, big ocean.
Mm-hmm.
You know that area that it's covering on the radar could be 10 miles wide,
Mm-hmm.
and it went 100 miles this way.
Right.
That's just too much. You know what I mean? It takes days to find people in a broken down building. 9/11, it took people days to find the bodies. They didn't know where they were. And we
Mm-hmm.
expect, you see what I'm saying? I mean, I look at things real small in a
Mm-hmm.
sense, and I just try to escalate it. We can't shoot,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Um,
Okay,
I'm thinking
let's
about
move on
I'm thinking
from
about
MH.
air tagging.
We're gonna move on from MH, and we're gonna leave that where it's at. But
What's
interesting, MH370.
Oh, uh, uh,
Wait
I'm like, what is that?
a minute, what? We just been talking about it for the last 5 minutes.
I thought you were saying something about you because you said MH. I
Oh
was like,
my gosh! All
we'll
right,
move on
well,
from MH.
listen.
Okay.
I'm pulling this from news topic, current news topic right now. This is so big right now. Noah Nolan Wells. This is so big right now. Nolan Wells was an 18-year-old from Mississippi, guys. I know everybody probably know this, just in case somebody that's living underneath a rock or something don't know. He disappeared during the July 4th boating trip to Horn Island with friends. His body was found 2 days later near the island. Authorities they're still investigating. The case is still open. The parents have hired an independent autopsy um, to find out the cause of the manner of death. Um, they have attorney Ben Crump now. It's just so big and so wide. It's
The
so
official
big,
autopsy has been completed, but it
mm,
has not been released yet. They're going to
right?
release it. They're going to release it soon. I hear
The first one, right?
the official one.
Yeah, the one they first did when they first found his body, correct?
Sure. Hmm.
Right. Right. That's what we're talking about because there's two autopsies to make sure people understand what we're talking about.
Official and unofficial.
Okay. Um,
The
so
unofficial one was done by the family, and
mhm,
that really wasn't conclusive, really.
mhm, mhm,
And this is the official one,
correct.
but it hasn't been released yet.
Mhm. Yes. So it's a lot of talk about it, a lot of you told me the other day, I didn't even know this part that all the friends had lawyered up. I'm like, why would they lawyer up? What's going on? That intrigued me. That's the part that got me. Like, why did y'all need to lawyer up? I didn't
I'm gonna tell you
understand that.
why, because they're smart, right? We need to learn something about that. We have this thing, and I mean we as probably a people maybe,
Mhm.
as to things will go my way.
Right. That is so interesting that you said that.
I'm right, or
Yeah.
I don't think, or I'm okay.
Mhm.
The the other side is smart. They're like, mm-mm,
Yeah.
because this
There's
is
somebody that's paid to do this. Yep.
Right. You know what I mean?
School for this. Yes.
Right. I mean, seriously. So, people ask why because their parents are smart.
Yeah.
And I would tell any person if your kid gets in a situation like that, uh, get an attorney.
Yes. They really need to know the sidebar because this I really just looked at I watch all this true crime stuff. And I was watching this true crime stuff last night and they had it was two guys, they was both in separate interrogation rooms and they just kept talking and I'm like, why are these guys not asking for a lawyer? I'm like, that was so amazing to me. And I think you're right. That I guess people just don't know. Get a lawyer. You
Yeah.
don't have to talk. You have rights. Get a lawyer. Let that person do your talking because that's what they went to school for. That's what they're
Listen, man,
here for.
if we're not, I'm not, I mean, I'll talk about my opinion, I guess, if you ask, right? But
Well,
I'm
what
just
about
talking
your opinion?
in general. In general, whatever you say will and can be held against you in a
Mm,
court of law, period.
correct. Hmm.
Kids are kids,
Hmm.
meaning they talk. Adults are adults, they talk. That's why most time people get caught cheating because they tell on themselves.
Right, right,
I mean, it's the weirdest thing. Like people will tell on themselves.
right.
So, or
Mhm.
even if you're not telling on yourself, you're just trying to protect yourself. You don't want to make a mistake because the rest of your life will be affected by this, period.
Mhm.
Um, them getting an attorney either beforehand tells me that everybody knew something happened,
Mhm.
period. Until the body, if you have an attorney and you're deleting stuff before the body's found,
Mhm.
because you don't know what happened, supposedly, that
Right,
means you know what happened.
right,
You know what I
right.
mean?
Exactly. I
So,
believe that's going to come up.
I think
Yeah.
timing is everything also. Not really knowing too many of the facts about this, but my understanding was that they were lured up. Facebook things were deleted prior to the body being found, which dictates, somebody knows what happened. So, but on the part of getting an attorney, smart, period.
Right, right, right. I know they have a lot of different descriptions as to why Nolan um, didn't return back with the group.
Mm.
Kind of, I want to know why too. Why was he, left on the island? It's just so many. It's so much stuff. They saying that the boat they were on was sinking. Something was going on with the boat that they were on, and they called a
I've
distress
heard,
call or
heard,
something.
I've heard so much. I mean, I try to break things down simply because people can get things complicated, right?
Mhm.
By bringing in a whole bunch of stuff, which matters. But from my mind, I try to keep things simple. One is you go out with a bunch of people,
Mhm.
right, to celebrate seniorism.
Right,
Right.
right. Mhm.
That means you partying, you having a good time,
Right, right.
right?
Mhm.
Only time you get left alone is if you going to get some,
With a chick, yeah. Mhm.
right? Or the woman leaving her girls to go get some from the dude, whatever. That's
Right.
the only time. So other than that, then if that's the case, right? If that's what happened, then
Mhm.
one person other than Nolan needs to know what happened, and then you have people supposedly that have seen it or seen groups and all that, or people on the island, and everybody knows the black kid. I
Mhm.
mean, if there's 100 people and you're two of 100, they know who you are. They see
Right.
you.
Mhm.
I
Right.
mean,
Right.
that's
Mhm.
just common, So for everybody not to know what happened, not to see anything, that's the issue. The conspiracy theory is hiding that part, I think, by all parties involved. But also the conspiracy theory is after the fact. And what I
Mhm.
mean by that is that now the conspiracy is to defame the kid,
Mhm.
right? He might have been drinking. He might have been doing drugs.
Mhm.
He's a senior and they're partying.
Mhm.
What
Right.
do you think?
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
But in that area, Mississippi, I don't know what area he lives in and whatnot, but if there were drugs involved, in most cases, when I went to, I went to good schools, and if you wanted drugs in schools, you went to the white guys.
Right. Right. Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, how much? So the question is, how much inconsistency is normal when multiple witnesses remember a stressful event? In fairness, like how much in fairness, you know, I think if I was on a boat with my friends and in our teenage years and we were young, I feel like could I remember everything? Or am I just, and one of my friends is missing? That's stressful in a teenager. They don't know how to handle that. Do they remember anything? What was they looking at? They wasn't watching nothing. They was having fun too.
Mhm.
Most teenagers ain't even most of them are not aware of other things going on. You know what I mean? Around them. Well, especially if they're in the atmosphere like that. How much inconsistency can be normal? You know, that's
I
going to
feel
be
you.
hard for an investigator to,
Uh,
be sitting there trying to interrogate or even just asking questions. You got to look at that part.
no,
And
no, no. I mean, that's absolutely fair. That's absolutely fair.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Because we've been to parties where
I don't remember everything that
I
happened in
went
that
out on my
party. Yeah.
own, right, right. And so
Yeah.
everybody the next day was like, "Yo, man, that was crazy, man."
Yes. Yes, man. Shoot.
So
I
I mean,
remember being at a party where I thought somebody had choked me, the guy in the bow tie, while we were dancing. Come to
mm,
find out, I fell back and hit something. I don't remember because we were drinking. Yeah,
oh
yeah, we were drinking. I don't remember.
no,
Yeah.
nothing like that ever happened to me.
Well, it happened to me. Sorry, it happened to me. Maybe I went too far. Yeah, it happened to me. But go ahead.
Over a hooker once. No, I'm joking. No, I mean, yeah, I mean that's a fair point, right? They're all doing their own thing and so forth. Uh,
Right.
really, what it comes down to, and I'll point something out to you that probably you may not have thought about,
Mhm.
is he was the only one in the group. It's
Right.
hard to miss the only one in the group, man.
Right. Right. That's true. That's true.
What you talking about is y'all all hanging out, y'all all pretty much the same, right?
Yeah, but
Nah, yeah.
again, they're still teenagers. If they were really best friends and they could have been best friends for years. I don't know. They could have grew up together. Who knows? I don't know the whole
Well, listen,
backstory.
it goes from they
But
were best friends to they barely knew each other. That tells you everything you need to know, right? But that's a tactic. No, I mean seriously. Now that we were associates and we really weren't that cool. I mean, certain people are saying that, but that's an attorney thing, right? Distance yourself, right? Distance yourself as much as possible from this relationship because you're going to get dragged in. So I get
Mhm.
the tactic. Um, but at the end of the day, uh, there were too many inconsistent facts. I think that the coroner was an issue,
Mhm.
or the examiner was an issue because
Mhm.
she, noted, any black death was noted as natural or common or whatever the case may be. There was no,
Really?
yeah, I mean, there was an issue with that. Um, she's under. I don't know if she's under investigation, but I'm sure they're going to question that, especially if this autopsy comes out and it stipulate different things than the one done by the coroner or the death certificate that's listed as a natural death or something of that sort.
Mhm.
I can't not natural death, but anyway,
Mhm.
not any
I
homicide.
think that I think what really started it was the officials. They didn't investigate anything. They just automatically said, no foul play. Found a
Yeah, I mean,
body on the beach. They
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
investigate anything.
Target was
No
the parent.
forensic results that came back or anything. They just put it out there. No foul play. Nobody did nothing. Nothing was investigated. It was just like, just found a body on the beach.
Yeah, yeah.
He
I
had
mean,
drowned.
and that's the conspiracy theory. I mean, as into it's a common theory, basically, that you have the death of certain individuals. They're a certain class, a certain race,
Mm,
and if you don't have power, the system conspires against you or against knowing the truth, and it kind of whitewashes your presence or death in a sense, not to blame anybody else. Now, the theory is that that happens when it's white on black crime, but if it's black on white crime, the
mm,
conspiracy theory is there's no hold bars on the investigation. It's
mm,
done immediately. The kids are in
mm,
custody. You
mm,
know, um,
mm.
perfect example I think was that New York situation with the park kids. I can't remember.
Oh,
Uh,
the five. What was it? Something five. I remember this. Yeah.
right. Um,
Yeah. Oh, that was so sad.
right. Right. And even people, at that time, which is I guess at the president now actually asked for them to be executed.
Mm. Remember,
Right.
Donald Trump took out a whole full page
Right.
to
Right.
pay for
Right.
it.
Right. Right. And you look at that now,
Mm,
that that was a conspiracy, theory in the neighborhood, right? The neighborhood always thought, "Yo, man, them kids are getting railroaded. I bet you the man is going, and they're going against him." That was in right. The
right,
internet wasn't around then,
right, right.
right? And it took forever for those kids to get justice,
Yeah, yeah. They were in jail for a long time.
right? So
They
I
were
mean,
sentenced and everything.
right. So you look at something like that, right? To where there was no evidence, right?
Hmm.
And then you look at a situation where there was no evidence taken with the current situation. And you go,
Mm,
man, you know, 20, whatever, how many years later, and we're no better off.
mm,
That can be the conspiracy theory also.
mm. That's true. What else? Another case that always fascinated me too. The John Benet Ramsey, the little girl that was
In the
discovered
basement.
in the basement. Yeah, that was another, and they never resolved her case either. Um, that little girl was found in the basement hours after they called 911. I'm talking about hours after. Like, why did you just all of a sudden go in the basement? And did you know this part that there was a ransom note, right? There was a ransom note. The ransom note was 2.5 pages long.
Hmm.
Mind you, the ransom note, the mom had they had just got up in the morning. Um, this was the day after Christmas, and she came down the steps and this paper she seen laying on the steps. And she picked it up, and it was a ransom note asking for $118,000, which was close to the bonus that the father had just received, Christmas bonus. Um, and it was 2.5 pages long. Now, come to find out, the paper came from the house, the pad it was written on came from the house, and the pen came from the house.
Hmm.
And whoever did this put everything back where they belong.
Hmm.
They wrote a 2.5 page long letter um, asking for a ransom.
Right.
That was so odd to me. Besides the fact, and they trashed this investigation so bad because so many people came in and out of the house. This before they found her body. So many people came in and out of the house. So they didn't get a lot of evidence because you allowed so many people to trample on everything, which I didn't understand. Um, why so many people were in and out and they weren't doing anything. But this was in what, 96, I believe it is.
Mm. I
Yeah,
mean, I
it
remember it,
was.
but I really didn't pay too much attention to it, to be honest with
But
you. Know if the
the,
parents did it, if the grandparents did it, and all that. I don't think anybody ever got locked up, did they?
no, they never resolved this case. They
Tell
found
me.
her in their basement.
Mm,
Nobody ever checked the basement. This hours later. They found her body in the basement. She had been strangled. She had a traumatic head injury. That's just so odd to me.
is
Like,
that a conspiracy though?
well, the conspiracy is about the family.
They can.
They were never arrested or anything about it. But everybody's like, why would a intruder or somebody that was going to kidnap her write a 2.5 page letter and then leave her body there and leave?
Mm-hmm.
Make that make sense. You didn't even take her. You didn't kidnap her. You killed her and left her there, but left a 2.5 page ransom note.
Right. I don't know if that's a conspiracy, man.
Well, what do
I
you
think
think it is?
that's just a murder mystery and shit.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I
So
mean, I
nobody
think
ever was.
like a conspiracy is, like uh Area 51 and there's aliens. The Titanic. Shit, that motherfucker, I mean, the plane going missing because, there's different, but
I mean, if that's the case, then you Nolan Wells is not a conspiracy. It's a murder mystery.
it's a conspiracy because they feel that the parents, and the police and the medical examiner conspired to say that the boy's murder was drowning instead of a murder. Like his death was caused by something. So that's the conspiracy that they're coming together in order
So the fact that this
to
child
falsify a
case
fact.
has
Mhm.
never been, the fact that this child's case has never been resolved, that all those investigators, this man makes a lot of money.
Who's
He's
this?
some kind of millionaire, the father.
Okay.
And the police allowed everybody to trample through all the evidence, come in there, trample through all the evidence. Hours later, the father is the one that goes down in the basement and finds her. Nobody ever went in the basement. You got a whole 2.5 page letter written on the same stuff that they own that's in their house and put back in the same places. You don't find the conspiracy? You don't
No,
think that's a conspiracy?
no, no, I just think that's crappy police work,
Hmm.
to be honest.
Well, I found a conspiracy in it.
No, I mean, I feel you. I mean, I can see, and that's the whole point, man. Everybody has their point of what a conspiracy, what they
Hmm.
feel is conspiracy. I think, I think because the police, everybody talked about it. Like they didn't come together and say, I didn't think the parents did nothing. They investigated the parents, right? They were under investigation, not at first, but eventually they were. Um, I don't know if there was no evidence that was hidden or not taken. Um, it was trampled upon because it was shoddy police work because they thought it was a kidnapping instead of a murder, which investigators tell you check the house first, but whatever the case may be. Um, but I can see where you can think it's a conspiracy. I just want to know who conspired, you know.
Mhm.
But the Nolan thing, definitely in my mind, just because the examiner report came out before anything. They had attorneys. They deleted their Facebooks. You know what I mean? Now they don't know the kid. Now he wasn't with us. He was drunk or he was doing drugs. I mean, it's just like, the story gets worse and worse for him. but I hear nothing on the other side, which makes me think, um, the way I do.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Let me ask you this: do you think the government killed JFK and Martin Luther King?
I don't know. I think they were just murdered. It's not a conspiracy.
Really?
Yeah, they were just murdered.
See, and that's the whole point. No, no, seriously, no, but because that's the point. Because a lot of people don't believe it. I don't believe the government thing. I think it was a murder. I agree with you.
They were just murdered.
I
And
agree. I think we put too much on conspiracies.
I think
Become paranoid.
that's my darn cat doing something. I think I know another big topic, and this one is just so much stuff about. I think powerful men um have a lot of backing, powerful men, and I say that um Jeffrey Epstein. That is one thing they have come up with. So they swear that it's a list of all these powerful people that's on this list. Nobody knows where this list is. Ain't nobody found this list. Is so much with it. But I think more of the conspiracy is the way he died in jail. I think that's more the conspiracy. Because I think whatever he had going on, that's out. Everybody has uncovered it. Now people just putting more stuff on it. But I think more the conspiracy is how he died in jail. That's what I think a lot of people talk about.
The weird thing is, right, is that there's really no Epstein list. That's a misconception. There is a list of people that are in his documents,
Right. Like
right?
dogs. Yeah. Yeah.
But that list contains people that had business dealings and nothing else.
Mm,
That list contains people that have more than something else.
mm,
The issue is what they're looking at is the consistency of that person's name in those documents. How many
mm,
times did they occur, and what was the interaction between them? And those are the powerful people that we have, right? That
right.
they're the
Mm,
conspiracy is because they have it, they just won't release it.
right. Well, they said it's
Oh,
victim.
another
It's a
conspiracy
lot of
is
victim information, and they use the word legally sensitive material.
the other conspiracy is the reason why, and this is kind of weird, is that other leaders have the information about the Epstein list and are bribing our officials. That's a conspiracy theory.
I don't know. I don't know. All I know is the man was arrested for underage. Um, Apparently they must have had some. I know he has a private island. He's he was arrested on sex trafficking. That's what it was, um, involving underage girls.
Hmm.
His associated was later convicted of recruiting and grooming underage girls for Epstein.
Who's that?
His associate
Okay. Who's that?
was Ghislaine Maxwell.
Okay.
Um, they talk about, I mean, because a lot of conspiracies about he was killed. He was killed while he was in jail. They say he was killed. They have no cameras, no none of the cameras worked. Um, the guards failed to do their duties. Um, that's what you went out. Oh, there you go. That's what a lot of the conspiracy theories are that add up to why would they kill him,
Yeah.
in jail,
Yeah.
so.
You know what? And I think, in all honesty, uh, most conspiracy theories are because we don't get enough information.
Mhm.
Somebody has this information.
Right.
People know what's going on, right? A lot of these conspiracy theories can be solved within, I don't know, an hour meeting with the right person.
All right.
You know what I mean? Seriously. And that's the sad thing about it, right? Um, and that's this is kind of weird to say because I don't know if it's true or not. The lack of knowledge can add to a conspiracy theory, right? And what I mean by that is that if you know how things work or you're privileged to certain information, you're less likely to come up with a conspiracy than not knowing, right? Meaning this, if if you studied astronomy or you studied to be an astronaut, let's just say that, or a scientist,
Mhm.
right? You wouldn't believe the conspiracy theory that the earth is flat.
Mhm.
Lack of knowledge, right? People that never don't comprehend the information and whatnot will think, okay, yeah, that makes sense. The earth
I mean,
is
I think some of it is lack of knowledge, maybe, but I think a lot of it is unanswered questions.
lack of knowledge.
Unanswered questions. I
That's
mean,
lack of knowledge.
it's not, I think you use the analogy like, yeah, that person is an astronaut. So yes, he would know, he's been to space and know that the world is not flat. No, people want to know, they want to know the answers. That's not a conspiracy. Well, the moon landing is a conspiracy.
Earth
People
is
think
flat
about
as
that.
Earth is
But
flat as
nobody that but to use that analogy that, an astronaut, yeah, that person does have the answers.
I said, but
He's
all, I
there.
said, but I also gave you three other careers.
Mm.
I said a pilot, a
Pilot
scientist,
is in the sky. He knows the answer. He's out there in the sky. He's
a
looking. I
scientist,
don't mean as far as the Earth being flat,
a
but
scientist.
mhm,
They would know knowledge, right? You said, right?
we're talking about the
Right. You said a
conspiracy.
conspiracy theory comes up when you have lack of answers, which is knowledge.
I mean, I didn't like the way you used that analogy. You can say, yeah, some of it is knowledge, but that person has the answer. You used a scientist, a astronaut, and a pilot. They have their answer. So
When
they
you,
can speak
hey,
on it. We're talking about the unanswered, the questions that you don't know.
that's what I just said. Lack of knowledge. Most conspiracy theories come out of lack of knowledge. If you know the answer, you're less likely to think of a conspiracy. That's a
Mm.
fact. Not knowing an answer is a lack of knowledge, no
Mhm.
matter how you look at it.
Okay.
But the
Mhm.
thing is, I mean, listen, I mean, shoot, we came up with all theories about the Titanic until we found it. Then we had knowledge of what happened. We'll come up with all types.
We've already had that knowledge. There were survivors.
We
We
didn't know where
already
the boat
had that
was.
knowledge.
We didn't know where the
They,
boat was.
we lost the boat decades ago
Yo,
because
did
the
you know the
people went out
conspiracy
there
theory? Even
and
when we
picked
had
up
the
the
survivors,
survivors.
even when we had the survivors, the conspiracy was the government killed the people on the boat. The
They sank the
Rockefellers,
boat,
the
not the iceberg
Rockefellers
that they hit.
the Rockefellers did it in order to promote their family and all that. That's the
Mhm.
conspiracy,
Right, right.
right? And we had the knowledge. People didn't believe it. They made up their own
Mhm.
thought. But the people that were on that boat had the knowledge. They had the answers. They knew what the hell happened because they were there. Everybody else was coming up with stuff because they had lack of knowledge. And that's where the conspiracy comes from. Perfect example. Definitely with this damn
Not a perfect example.
perfect.
If
Perfect.
you have survivors and they give you the knowledge, you just chose not to believe the knowledge. Now you made up stuff. We're not talking about a
I didn't make up
conspiracy with it.
anything. I didn't make up anything.
I didn't
That's a
say
conspiracy.
you. I didn't say you
That's
personally.
a conspiracy theory. If you have people thinking that the government did it and there was a powerful family that killed people on the boat to kill a
Mhm,
certain people, it's
mhm,
the same thing about this plane.
mhm.
Even if you have survivors, there was still the conspiracy
Right.
theory.
But conspiracy does not mean lack of knowledge. The way you're trying to put it, that doesn't mean lack of knowledge. That means conspiracy is when you are trying to get unanswered questions that they have not put out. People make up, I agree with people make up stories
Mhm.
because of they don't have the answers. An
Right.
astronaut has the answer. A pilot has the answer. A scientist has the answer.
Mhm.
We're talking about conspiracies, not them not knowing what happened. No, I didn't like the analogy you used. An astronaut is going to say, no, the world is round. It's not flat. That's not a conspiracy.
What?
I said, if an astronaut has went up into space and seen the Earth, that's a whole nother a whole nother conversation. But you used the analogy that an astronaut has the knowledge because they've been in space, correct? Is that what you were saying?
No, I said an astronaut, a scientist, a
No,
pilot.
you used the astronaut. What did
Yeah.
you say about the astronaut?
I said they would not believe that the earth is flat because they have knowledge. That's what I said.
Correct.
You said they've
That
been
is
in
not a
space.
conspiracy. You saying lack of knowledge is part is what a conspiracy is. No, some of it can be that, but most of it is not being able to answer the question that is underlining the conspiracy.
Okay. I think you're all right. So let me ask you a question. Is do people think the earth is flat?
I don't know. I
Huh?
don't know. I say I don't know. I've never looked into anything
You've
about the
never
person.
heard
What
of the people
I've
saying
heard
that
of it. I've heard some. Yeah, I've heard of it, but I don't know whether or not the Earth is
all right,
flat
the
or round
conspiracy
because
is
I'm
the
not an
government's
astronaut.
lying to us, the maps are wrong, the earth is flat. Okay.
Hmm.
That's the conspiracy theory is that. If you look up conspiracy theories, I think is number 13.
Hmm.
All right. Now, just because people believe a conspiracy doesn't mean that everybody believes it, meaning this.
Hmm.
All right. The conspiracy theory is about this MH plane that you're talking about
Hmm.
and the 4 people that died and the 1 person that didn't. Some
Hmm.
people believe it, but that, they're kidnapped and all this other stuff. The
Hmm.
people that actually, the scientists that have the knowledge and the reports and the things of that sort, or scientists that know how things work, probably don't believe that conspiracy theory because they have knowledge that we don't have.
Hmm.
Same thing about the Titanic. Same thing about Martin Luther King, JFK, shoot, even Marilyn Monroe's murder, conspiracy theories, even the death of Elvis. All right. All these conspiracy theories is
Okay.
because certain people lack knowledge and they try to come up with a reason or a possibility. But those that have the knowledge of the situation don't believe those conspiracy theories. So most conspiracy theories, in my mind, come up because of lack of knowledge, period. But, everybody believes what they want.
Right.
But the more you learn about certain things, the more you say, nah, that can't be true, or I don't believe that.
Hmm. Right. Hmm.
What you looking up? What you trying to combat with?
So again, what is a conspiracy theory? The key word is conspiracy.
Ooh, pardon. What is that?
Mm.
Okay. I mean, what do you
It's
think?
again,
You think you're hitting
it's
some
about
thin shit? I
it's
mean, the
about
key word is conspiracy,
unanswered questions.
huh?
I said again, it's about unanswered questions. It's about explaining something about whatever that hidden goal or the truth being concealed. That's what it is. Conspiracy. It means people just secretly, not secretly, but just it can mean somebody together, two people together planning to do something unlawful or um unanswered questions, suspicion.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean it. I mean, some of it can mean, some of it can be some lack of knowledge if you're looking at it in a way of, you know, something that you don't know, that you weren't trained on
Basically, I get what you're
or
saying. All right,
schooled with.
what you're looking at, and this is one thing that people forget about words. Okay, is that some words are nouns and adjectives, right? You're looking at conspiracy theory as a noun, meaning it's a subject, place, or thing. I'm looking at it as an adjective, as a
Mm,
description, right? Meaning this. When you're looking at a conspiracy theory, you're looking at it as a title, meaning a conspiracy theory is when this people try to hide something from these people, right? Because that's what I mean. Conspiracy theory is an explanation or an event or situation that claims a small secret group of powerful people is behind a sinister plot. All right.
so
That's the
conspiracy
definition
theory
of
doesn't automatically mean that you're ignorant towards whatever the situation is, or whatever the topic is, or whatever it is that you're looking at. Because when you say lack of knowledge, you mean it's almost like ignorance, like you don't know, or like you
yeah,
were saying,
yeah,
scientists
yeah. I mean,
or
yeah, that is. If you have a group of people planning something and you don't know about it, and that's a conspiracy theory to you because you don't know. Yeah,
yeah, but doesn't mean once you get the information does not mean you don't have no knowledge of whatever that topic is.
that's what I just said, Shelley. You're looking at it as a noun,
Mm,
right? As a description, meaning that a conspiracy theory is a conspiracy theory if you know about it or if you don't,
right.
right? I'm looking at it as a description, meaning that if you have the knowledge of it, it's not a conspiracy theory anymore.
Oh, okay.
It's not a group of people plotting something that you don't know about because you know about it. You see what I'm saying? Meaning that if you know that the government killed JFK, there's no guessing about it. You have the knowledge. So it's not a thought anymore, it's a fact. Conspiracy, most people in a conspiracy theory, as you're looking at it, is a secret plot, rejection of proof, and so forth. So I get what you're saying.
No, that's not the way I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it as the analogy that you gave. I'm not looking at it in the actual conspiracy. I'm looking at it that you said it's a lack of knowledge of whatever the topic is. But if the person already has that knowledge, that's not a good analogy. It's not a lack of knowledge. It's just um, an unanswered question, whether it's a noun, an adjective, a verb, whatever it is, whatever you want to place it as. It's
If
an
you have the
unanswered
knowledge, if you
question.
have the knowledge,
It's
and
almost like
if you have the knowledge and you say it's an unanswered question, how can it be an unanswered
that's not what
question?
I said. That's not what I said.
What did
I
you say?
said what I said was
Mhm.
you used the analogy about an astronaut. An astronaut has the knowledge of being in space or whatever the case may be. They already have that knowledge. They're trained on it. They went to school for it. They that's what they studied. That's what their degree is. So they already have their knowledge. There's no conspiracy in that. The conspiracy is in other people claiming that this happened, this happened. Nobody's out there saying, I want to say, there's no astronaut on TV saying the earth is round. I'm just going to settle it right now. The earth is round. You know what I mean? It's an unanswered question. Nobody's on TV saying the earth is round. And you said that people say that the earth is flat. I'm just bringing up that conspiracy. You said people say that
Scientists have said the earth is round.
whatever. I don't know. I haven't gone into that. I don't know.
Okay,
What
but
I'm trying to,
what
the
I'm
point I'm
saying
trying
is
to
that
make is
there are people saying that the earth is round.
I don't know. I'm trying to make a point. Well, I'm trying to make a point because you just said it's people that have conspiracy saying that the earth is flat.
Please continue on with your
So
point.
if the scientist is saying the earth is round, the astronaut is saying the earth is round, that's the knowledge that they have, right? That's what they did. The astronaut sees it itself. He's out there in space. He says he sees the earth, just like just your background. He has the knowledge.
Every astronaut doesn't go in space, right?
I know. I'm not talking about every astronaut. What are you talking about, man? I didn't say nothing about every astronaut. I'm using what you just said.
Maybe people that are in science, maybe I should just stick with the science part because you keep sticking. I give you three Jones and you keep sticking on astronauts.
And they all
let's just stick
talking
with
about
science.
people with titles.
Scientists haven't been in space.
You're talking about people with titles that have trained and went to school. They have degrees in this stuff.
Knowledge.
Whatever knowledge, whatever that is that they do, whatever scientist, if that scientist does DNA, if that scientist research on DNA, that's his knowledge. He has the knowledge to say, hey, this DNA matches this DNA. Correct? He has that knowledge. That's what he was trained to do. That's his degree. He has a knowledge in that. There is no unanswered question in that unless you take the DNA, like what's going on in what's his name? Nolan Wells case. What's going on right there. They're saying, the forensic test and all that, the autopsy and all that stuff. They got problems with it. Whatever. I don't know the terminologies because I'm not really following his case. But they don't have the answered questions that this conspiracy that's going on right now, because now everybody's like the autopsies don't match or the official autopsy has never come out yet and blah, blah, blah. Those are unanswered questions. That's not lack of knowledge. They ain't go to school for that stuff. Why hasn't the official autopsy come out yet? Yes. That's a conspiracy for people. That's an unanswered question. But
no,
the scientists or the whoever did it, they have the knowledge of it. When they do their press conference, then they're going to say, hey, this is what we found. That'll be the answered question. Now we got the answer. I'm saying conspiracy, people put conspiracies together because of unanswered questions, not lack of knowledge, not ignorance of unanswered questions. That's my opinion.
Okay, I disagree. I think knowledge is knowledge. You know something, you don't. You keep throwing ignorance in it. That's not that.
I mean,
ignorance
ignorance.
No. You're looking at when you read a book, you gain knowledge.
Lack of knowledge.
You gain knowledge. If you look outside and it rains, and you look at the clouds and be like, "Oh, when it's gray, it might rain." That's knowledge. I mean, it's not ignorance per se. You're looking at it as a negative. Knowledge is not knowing. A lack of knowledge is not knowing. Period.
Lack of knowledge and ignorance is the same thing.
Then if you want to call it ignorance, I think ignorance is when you don't want to have the knowledge or you ignore knowledge that's in front of you. When people want to insult a person, they say you're ignorant of something.
Mm-hmm.
When they are being respectful, it's you lack the knowledge. Period. You don't know because you don't know. Why is that insulting? But if a person wants to insult you, they'll go, you're ignorant to it. But, That's a personal thing. But lacking of knowledge is not knowing something. If you don't know 1 + 1 is 2, you lack that knowledge. You ain't ignorant. You just don't know it.
Right. Right.
But some people can be rude like that. That'd be a shame. I never thought that's like calling a person a fool. That's like one of those words I think in the Bible says don't nobody or don't call a person a fool. I think you shouldn't call a person ignorant. In my
Let me ask you a question. If and I'm gonna go back to, let me say, Nolan Wells case. If new evidence was
presented.
presented and it was totally against what you were thinking, would you change your mind about it?
I guess that's where the conspiracy theory can deepen,
Mm,
right? It's either you believe the facts, but there's a difference, and this is the way the world is now. It's kind of like knowing the facts, right? That's a really blanket statement. And what I mean by that is, what's that old statement? Believe nothing you hear and half of what you see,
mm,
right?
mm,
Because, all right, depending on the news channel you look at,
mm.
they give you their own facts.
Right.
And you can be swayed either way.
Right.
Right. And that's what I mean sometimes lack of knowledge, meaning that if I don't know MSNBC and I don't know Fox, or, I'm just focused on one, I'm lacking the knowledge of the other to make an informed decision.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And this Nolan thing, if they came back with a report, and depending on who came and who backed it up, will
Mm-hmm.
depend on how I believe it. If the city comes and the family's like, no, we don't believe that report, there's a conspiracy going on. You know what I mean? But if the report's received and the family goes, I can accept that.
Mm-hmm.
You
I
know,
think I understand what you're saying. I think just like, Martin Luther King's assassination, um, he was, I think people hold on to things. Now, this man who assassinated him just didn't have to have no, somebody came at him and the government came at him and told him he'll get this or whatever conspiracy, a lot of, whatever the conspiracy, he could have just been somebody that just targeted him. You know what I
and
mean?
it could have been. I mean, but there's other facts to it that kind of
But
have
I
you
think
thinking.
people want to hold on to something, especially if it's a powerful person like Martin Luther King. So many things he did. Why would somebody do what they did? It had to be something, behind this to kill him. I
Well, I
think
mean,
that's what
especially in the
people hold
climate,
on
the
to.
type of culture we had at that time.
Right,
I mean, that was right after, not too far from Hoover.
right, right,
Hoover were killing people in their
right,
beds
right.
and prosecuting people. So, a lot of the conspiracy theories are also, all right, first, I mean, example regarding this Mississippi. The reason why the conspiracy theory in Mississippi is so is because of their history,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Finding the prisoners behind the police station
yeah.
where there were 22 dead bodies,
Mm,
right? There was a
mm,
1-year-old girl killed in Mississippi. They said it was not, circumstance. There was no investigation. A 1-year-old baby. So I
mm.
mean, there's other things in Mississippi that kind of lead to it, right? If a person, like, if
So
a person,
they have a track record
yeah, if a
on
person keeps lying,
on shoddy investigations.
yeah, if a person keeps lying to you, they're a liar.
Right,
Even though they might be trying to tell you the truth now, they're
right,
still
right.
a liar. I mean, in your
Yeah,
head, right?
yeah.
So that's the thing. I think it adds credence to it. So,
Mm,
like I said, it all depends on who gives me the report,
yeah,
right? Because if you've always lied to me, why would I? Why would I? You know what I
right,
mean?
right,
If you're constantly lying and lying and lying, every report that comes out your mouth to me is a lie. That's why you need independent investigators. That's why you need that, because you don't believe the person that's talking to you.
right, right. I guess. I think conspiracy theories is a lot of work. I mean,
Just like lying. I mean,
listen, I
listen,
think they're a lot
anything.
of work.
Yeah,
I
it is.
think, yes,
A lot of
that's
energy.
yeah, it's too much energy. I didn't even want to go into, my favorite, the conspiracy about dinosaurs. I didn't even want to get into that one because, I don't believe they existed. So,
Hey, I mean, that's a conspiracy theory too, man.
yes, that conspiracy theory. But it's
What
so
I want
many,
to know, you know what I want to know? I want to know people's listing of conspiracies. People, let us know. What's your list of conspiracies out there that you want to know answers to?
right,
Hey, look at them and actually do some research on it,
right.
or and call some people and do some things. But list of conspiracies. I want to know what you think is out there, and do you think? I understand where Shelley was coming from with the conspiracy theories, a conspiracy theory, if you have knowledge or not. So let us know what your thoughts are. We're
Mm,
interested.
yeah, yeah. We'll talk about it on the next episode, guys. We're definitely interested. Um, I think, as we talked today about conspiracy theories often begin where certainty, I think, ends. Um, History has definitely proved to, most of us that, the government lied to us or powerful people, whatever it is, have lied. So we got a lot of trust issues, I guess. Um,
Yeah, yeah, right.
Other times
Uh,
unanswered questions lead people to conclusions that aren't supported by the evidence. That creates conspiracy theories. As we talked about a couple of things today, MH370, Jeffrey Epstein, John Benet Ramsey, Martin Luther King, John F. K. Bro, we didn't go too deep into them. But I think one thing remains true. I think questions are healthy. I think assumptions are easy to do, it's a conversation piece. They're easy to do, you know, but evidence matters. The evidence, the facts, that's what matters. I think that's what blows the conspiracy theories out of the water. Answer the questions, you know, let's find out the truth. Just answer the questions. I think that's why people get so turned on to conspiracy theories because of unanswered questions. That's my thought.
yeah, no, I have my 2 cents. Lack of knowledge, people. Lack of knowledge.
Okay, guys, thank you for joining us today for another episode of We Think Differently. Is that a problem? Remember, you don't have to agree with us. You just have to be willing to think.
Shoot, we
Until
don't
next,
even agree with
yeah,
us.
we don't agree with us. Yes. Until next time, guys, keep your minds open, respect different perspectives, and always, always keep the conversation going. God bless. Stay curious. We'll see you next time.
Peace.